I am a Catholic religious seminarian.
I'm an Orthodox Jewish rabbi.
What happens after death?
The most wicked, they will roast in hell.
He's been brainwashed. Should I intervene before it will be too late?
Jews have always been ready to die rather than accept Christianity.
What would you tell somebody who's so hurt by Judaism but so badly wants to connect?
I have a complicated relationship with God.
What are the religious implications of removing a name?
You're breaking my heart because it's still intensely painful. We're living in a world now where you see the danger of people not appreciating that men are men and women are women. And those are both very, very beautiful things.
Why is Moshiach not here? What aren't we doing enough of?
Rabbi,
Hello.
I am Brother Mario Godinho. I am a Catholic religious seminarian. I'm preparing myself to become a Catholic priest.
Congratulations. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you?
I'm an Orthodox Jewish rabbi. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm the rabbi of a synagogue there.
Great. So I have a question for you. Probably it's very basic, but I want to understand better now that I am here in Jerusalem about your religion, because Jesus was hero. All the apostles were heroes. So that's very important for us to understand. So my question is, what happens after death?
Okay, so our understanding, the simple understanding, I'm quoting you from Rabbi Moshe Chaim Lutzato, where he sort of codifies this nicely. And he takes this from the Talmud. We have something called Olam Haba, which means the world to come. And that is after the Messiah comes. And then there's a resurrection of the dead. And that world is the world to come, Olam Haba. However, in between, right now, when a person dies, there are two places. There is Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, we call it. Gan Eden HaElyon, the upper Garden of Eden, which he says is a place where there's lots of pleasures, and it changes by the season. And those souls are waiting for their ultimate reward in the world to come. And there's Gehenna, which is, it's not hell. That's not the right translation. It's generally never more than 12 months. That's a Mishnah. So in the Mishnah it says Gehenna, even for the worst sinners, is not more than 12 months, and it's a cleansing process. So a person made mistakes and made bad choices in life, so they'll be cleansed, and then they'll be able to move on. Except for the most wicked people, who are very, very wicked, about whom it says Gehenna Kala, Gehenna will end before they end. So the most wicked, evil people in world history, they will roast in hell for their terrible crimes, because the evil that they dabbled in this world became so essential and part of who they were. For most people, their soul is holy, it's a piece of God. So I say that the basic Jewish belief is that every single soul is holy and is good and doesn't require grace or salvation. They are holy. Only if a person sins, that's an external thing. It's not really who the person is, and therefore it can be cleansed and wiped off. Only a truly evil choices can make a person so connected to evil that there becomes no distinction, and they corrupt themselves so much. And that person is a person who has no salvation, but otherwise, and it's a little bit different, I understand, than the Catholic perspective, but that's where we're coming from.
I have a question. I'm Orthodox, Dati, religious, like before. And now me and my family got חילונים. My father known some, איך אומרים, יהודי משיחי, אתה יודע מה זה הדבר הזה?
Oh, Messianic Jews.
Messianic Jews.
שמאמינים בישו הנוצרי.
Yeah. And he started reading about it and he started believing it, you see?
Oh boy.
I see it like very bad thing. Unfortunately, he's really into it and I don't know what to do as his son, like let him.
Okay, so it's important. It's a very, very clear question. Your father has become enamored with Messianic Judaism. I think that there is absolutely no proof in the world to support Messianic Judaism. I suspect, therefore, and I don't know, that your father is suffering in a different way. I say this in a friendly way. In other words, you told me that he used to be very religious.
Yeah.
Then he went to be more chiloni. Now he's going over here. When people are making extreme changes like this in their life, it's often because of something that they're unhappy with, that they're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And the question is, what do you think that is? You don't have to answer this minute, but if you can get that clear, that would be really helpful in terms of helping him.
Yeah.
Because if he's looking for the truth, So then he will quickly understand that this isn't it either.
Yeah.
You understand? But it won't. He'll go to the next thing and the next thing. So the question as his son is, what happened? He was religious. Was he happy?
Yeah.
Was there shlom bayit between him and his wife? Was his life good? If that was the case, it's very unusual for somebody to make a radical change, go here, and then the next thing. So the hope is that he can find the inner peace to figure out where he belongs and what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what I would focus on. In other words, rather than debating him about Isaiah 53, Yeshaya Perek Nun Gimel, or this or that, which is very doable. And you can find good chomer, by the way, if you ever want to know. If he asks you a question and says, oh, that sounds smart, you can look online and quickly find good people like Rabbi Tovia Singer and other people.
I think my father is like
Intellectual person.
He researched the thing he's doing, and I believe like he knows what he's doing. But I feel like he's been brainwashed. You see what I mean? I know this, the Messianic thing. It's actually Christianity. You see what I mean? It
is Christianity.
It's absolutely Christianity. Like
Does
you can't.
He knows that.
I think he knows it, and I think to myself, like he is a grown person. He can make his own decisions. But
that's right.
Should I intervene? Should I try to avoid to make it stop before it will be too late? Should I?
I'll tell you one thing.
I don't know.
On the one hand, he's an adult. We have to respect him. The other side of the coin is that Jews have always been ready to die rather than accept Christianity. There have been some exceptions to that, unfortunately, during the Girush Sfarad. There were some who didn't. But as a whole, the reason we're still here is because whenever they came with knives and guns and swords, and we still said, no, we prefer Yahadut. Well, I was born a Jew, I'll die a Jew. That was the...
Yeah.
So it's very significant to us as Jews that we don't lose people who would really like... You know, there's a book I read many years ago from a girl who had converted to Judaism, and then later she went back to being Christian. It's a book called Girl Meets God. Very interesting book. And she had been a religious Jew, Orthodox, and then she went to be Christian. And she says in the book, the reason that she went back to Christianity is because when she was struggling with her Judaism, she was struggling with many different things in the community. People didn't call her and say, hey, where are you? What's going on? We missed you at Bet Knesset. How are you doing? And she says in the book that because of that, she wound up leaving. Yeah. And it's almost a cry for help. So in other words, you don't want that your father was really wanted you to come to him and say, Abba, we love you. Abba, Yahadut is important. You understand? Yeah. Could be that down the road he would turn around and say, why didn't you make more of an effort? I was calling for help. So that's an important thing. And it's important to understand also that clearly if he went from here to here and then to here, that's a sign of like something inside, usually, that is missing. A happiness, a connection, a friendship. And if you can help him with that, you're just loving him and helping him. So it's true, it can't come from a judgmental place. Oh, Abba, you're going to roast in hell. That's not it.
Yeah.
But don't give up on him, because you love him and you care about him.
Yeah. Of course.
Ariel, it's nice to meet you. B'atzlacha.
Skive Custom Software Solutions is an amazing idea, because instead of you spending a ton of money to build totally from scratch everything that you need, they take these amazing off-the-shelf solutions that already exist, like Pipedrive and Smart Suite and all kinds of other great stuff that's out there, and they tailor it exactly to meet your needs. Therefore, you will be more productive and you will be able to just get exactly what you need done without spending a ton of money. Skive, we are grateful to for being such a great sponsor of our show. Visit Skive and see if they can help you be much more productive at extremely affordable and practical rates.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
About you.
What's your name?
My name is Itamar.
Itamar, it's a pleasure.
I live here in the market.
What is the meaning of Itamar?
Itamar
the opposite of a Tamar?
I don't know what's the meaning. I know what is the source of the name.
Nachon.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it's the opposite of Tamar. But
Itamar. אני איתאנה.
okay.
Elchanan, קוראים לי. Itamar.
Yes.
As you have a question for me.
Yes, I have a question. What is your how you offer to people to לחזור בתשובה, you know? To start. How to start?
How do you get started?
From where? How? You wake up in the morning, what you need to do? That's what I asked.
Okay, there's two. I think there's yesh behilchot deot v'chovot alvavot. In other words, there's the ideas and there's the practical.
Okay.
In terms of the world of ideas, a person has to find that inside they are seeking something. Human beings are looking for something bigger and they want more, and they're very lonely. And friendship is important. Relationships are important, but even that is ultimately not fulfilling enough for the soul, which is seeking eternity and God. And if a person is in touch with that, they're ready for Torah and mitzvot and teshuva. So they need to find what gets them in touch in a healthy way with their urge to connect to God. For one person, it will be intellectual primarily. For another person, it will be emotional. It can involve singing and meditating, and like it could be that's the real thing. And for another person, it could be physical, acts of kindness.
Yeah.
And for most of us, it's a mix of all three.
Yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Usually one is dominant. But that's, I think, how you start in the Hilchot Deot, in the world of ideas. In the world of practical.
But the first, it's what touched you, go with this.
Yeah,
You
have to realize you're yearning and you're searching. And if you can find that, right? The person standing at the kotel, these are not people that have to go there. They're coming from all over the world because they're looking for God, for connection. They're praying.
Yeah.
So, no, it's not somebody whose parents said, sit down and pray. They're
That's
there
what
for hours. And so getting in that part, and each person it's a little different, that's number one. If you can't reach that in a person.
And what do you think is more important, between the man to man or between man to God?
I don't think there's really any difference. I think that...
But in this generation...
I think that in reality, it's so connected. The person who says, all I have is ben adam lechavero, between man and man.
Yeah.
So that person winds up getting very confused about whether you should kill a fetus or you should keep it alive. Very confused whether you should mutilate a 13-year-old girl who says she's a boy or not. Because without God in the picture, the ben adam lechavero is also not ben adam lechavero.
Yeah.
You think you're helping someone and you're not. So it's luchot. Luchot is spelled lamed chet taf in one place, and Rashi says sheshneim shavim. The ben adam lechavero is on one side of the tablets, right? Between man and God is on one side, between man and man is on the other side, and we know that they're equally important. They're one thing. So I don't like the person. Well, I'm more this, I'm more that. Unfortunately, without a healthy balance, it's like if you go to the gym, which you clearly do, and only work out the right side and not the left side.
Yeah.
So you're going to look foolish no matter how strong that arm gets for the arm wrestling. It's really an important balance. I think practically what a person should do is attach they need to find a healthy community.
Exactly.
If you don't have community, you see it when it comes to gerut and other things. If a person moves into a community and does it that way, it's very effective. They get the emotional support. They learn. And listen, when you're part of a community, you know why you go to the Beit Knesset on Shabbat morning? Also to pray, but also for community. Yeah. And a lot of Judaism that you might not even be...
The community is very important,
It pulls you in, the Sudot Shabbat, the different things. So I say that if somebody's looking to do teshuva, find that you're hungry in your heart and find that, because we all are. Every human being is. Every human being is tzameh, especially a Jew, especially. Is it tzme'ah zu Knesset Yisrael. Says Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Ayin Vav. Ayin Sham Pirush Rashi. Tzme'ah zu Knesset Yisrael. They're desperately thirsty.
Okay. Thank you very much for the
I enjoyed so much meeting you, Itamar.
Have a good time.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Rabbi Shoff. What's your name?
Shalom Coco.
Shalom Coco. I like that name.
I like it too. It's the one I have.
Where are you from, Shalom?
I am from Lakewood, New Jersey.
Fantastic. And now here you are in the shuk.
Yeah. Happen to be seeing you.
What is on your mind in your life? What's up? What's the next thing?
I just finished a mechina with 200 people who are drafting as lone soldiers.
Wow. So you're headed to defend Am Yisrael.
That's Hashem. That's the
wow,
plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What kind of service? Are you going to be in the combat?
That's Hashem.
Wow.
That's the plan.
I'm finding that it seems like a very high percentage of the people that are in combat and maybe even front lines are
they say
very
that
religious.
most of the people that go to commando and higher up are dati.
Why is it that
they feel much stronger connection? It's like this is Shalanu.
The mitzvah and this.
Yeah, the Za'at Shalanu is
Now, just as a total, I'm an American. Like I don't. People that are more Chiloni, are they also? Do they draft to the army in the same numbers?
I don't know. Like we had a class in the Mechina on like the different like sects of like Charidi, Chiloni, Dati. Like we had like all the different.
Really?
We had a class.
Did they bring someone in from each group?
No.
That's what they got to
It was
do.
stats. It was a lot of stats.
Oh man!
It's at the highest draft rate. The place with the highest draft rate. I forgot what the kibbutz name is. Just a kibbutz, Dati kibbutz. That they all. It's the highest draft rate in the country. It's like a Dati kibbutz. Yeah.
Wow.
But
It's a very holy thing. It's a very holy thing.
I'm very happy with
Hope you be
decision I'm
safe
making.
and protected.
Amen. Thank you.
These are the treasures of our people. These boys going out there.
Yeah, it's very cool. We have 200 people. They're all Chayabim, don't have family here, and they're locked in. They know where they're going. They have what they want. It's really cool.
Wow. What was the name of your mechina?
Machal.
Machal.
This is their shirt.
Mitnadvei chutz laaretz. Yפה.
Lo יודע מה השם, but I think that's what it seems something like that.
Wow, beautiful.
I have an actual question. I want to know, what would you tell somebody who is so hurt by Judaism, but so badly wants to connect, but at the same time is just so hurt by it?
Okay. There's a very important principle in life. Whenever you have very intense feelings about something, the solution is not outside of you. Understand? In other words, if a person feels a lot of anger towards something or someone, you can take control of your life. And to be triggered as if I'm walking down the street, I'm having a nice day, but then someone says, dirty Jew, and now I have to have an angry day, because that's heartbreaking. There are people that were so hurt that the rest of their life, that person who hurts them is controlling them. And when a person can learn to say, listen, I was hurt by this, but I don't care about that person. It's not about my father, it's not about my mother, it's not about that bad Rebbe or that person. It's about me. And sometimes there's a lot of damage that was done. To the extent that the person can take back control, say, I want to be a happy person, so I'm going to be a happy person. That skill set is going to also help them heal with religion. It's not a religious question that this person has.
So
they are suffering.
Question.
They are suffering from anger and pain and sadness, and they have no way out of it until they learn this skill. As soon as they learn this skill, even a little bit of the skill, incrementally, it'll be helpful.
The life is about me. It's not about...
And my experience of it. And I can choose to try to be happier and to try to let go of things. Not that person is going to roast in hell. It's not my problem. I don't have to think about that. But I felt lonely, and I can learn how to feel less lonely, and so on. A person who can learn that skill, and it's not simple, but it's a real one. It's what people do with the right therapist. It's what people do with the right Musar system. Whatever the way is that a person is going to learn how to do that, they're going to then find that they will have much less of a problem with religion. Because their problem isn't with religion. That's just a symptom of something else. Religion is associated with that person who hurt them or with that system that wasn't, adjusting to them properly. That's really important. It's really important.
So it's not about what other people said or did. It's not about the religion necessarily itself. It's more about me inside that help.
Right. How did that person really make you feel? When they ignored you, when they said, you're a bum, when they beat you up for not, singing Zmiros or something. How are you going to become the Gadol Hador if I don't beat you up every Friday night? You understand? Or whatever the story is. I once heard someone was quoting a boy who was in a yeshiva who had a very successful time. And the last day of yeshiva, they went around, everyone spoke. And he said, Shabbos is the most beautiful song in the whole entire world. He says, but I hated it for years. Because if every time they turn on this beautiful song, somebody beats you up,
right,
then you don't necessarily hear it.
Yeah.
So he said, it took me all this time in yeshiva to figure out,
right,
it's important to know how complicated people are, how much so many people have suffered. Sometimes it's because the grandparent was a Holocaust survivor and never hugged his children, and then these things pass down, these unhealthy things that, it's not the kid's fault, it's not the father's fault, who was so terrible. He came from dysfunction, which was caused by the Golos, like it was caused by horrible, but we can solve it. You and I can solve it. We can say it's going to stop at this generation. Our children are going to get crazy love, and they're going to get their emotional needs met, and our wives are going to be treated like queens, and all of our issues, it's my issue.
Amen.
So someone who's angry and it's his anger issue,
right,
and you can solve it. that attitude, he will find he has no problem left with religion. And since the Jewish religion is the most beautiful song in the world, once he's not getting beaten up whenever he hears it.
Right. I was in Waterbury, and Rabbi Kalish, Rabbi Kalish always said that your relationship with Hashem, it's a relationship. Your relationship with Yiddishkeit, it's a relationship. And you can't start a relationship if you don't have a relationship with yourself. You got to have your relationship with yourself first before you could start looking at other.
So this story that I told you about the most beautiful song was told by Rabbi Kalish, sang over B'Shem, one of the boys in Waterbury, after the last day of the year, a few years back.
Wow.
So I was in the yeshiva in Waterbury, the original yeshiva, in 2000 when it opened.
Wow.
Rabbi Kalish was the Avrichin.
Wow.
And the Rabbeim, and so I was there for, it was a whole different type of yeshiva, whole different experience. But Rabbi Kalish Shlita should be on everyone's lips. I mean, he should be, everybody should be quoting.
Yes, this is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changing people's lives every day.
Insightful question, important question. You knew the answer because you learned in Waterbury, so you knew this already. That's what he's teaching there.
Yeah. Yes. Relationships.
He knows how to teach it.
With Hashem.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Rabbi.
Okay, this is Tyler. Tyler, we just met.
Baruch Hashem, it's so great to meet you. As a Bali Tshuva myself, I have a kippah and I wear tzitzit, but I have all these tattoos.
Yes.
So I get a lot of questions about the tattoos. So that's probably in a similar vibe, whereas if you didn't know the halacha, what are you going to do about it later? What do you think about the tattoos?
Okay, so that's an excellent point. Without any question, choices that a person makes when they don't fully understand what they're doing are something that has a very different impact on them than when they do. And for that reason, you couldn't. We don't say that it has no impact. A person always, just as an example, if a person was eating things that weren't good for their physical health, and they didn't know, they were smoking. There are people that smoked for years before anyone discovered that it was bad for you. Unfortunately, it still had an impact on them. And therefore, we have this attitude that even for sins that are done without any understanding, a person still wants to rectify. So an example would be this. There's a book called Chorev, Horeb, from Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch. He has a beautiful chapter in there about the mitzvah of not marking up our bodies. Yeah. And you'll find that it's filled with ideas beyond just some sort of technicalities. So if at one time in your life you lived a certain way, and now you're taking on the Torah's perspective and you're listening to, so then investing yourself a little bit more than your average person in knowing that mitzvah well and knowing the reasons that have been given for it would probably be a very, very productive thing. But ultimately it becomes a badge of honor. I mean, if that's who you were, and then that's who you were. I mean, we're not embarrassed about these things. It's heroic. It's heroic. There may be people out there, if they would feel at all embarrassed, who would say, okay, so forget it. I can't go and live the life that really means a lot to me because I don't look the part or something.
Yeah.
And that's outrageous.
Outrageous. Rabbi, thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to chat. You're excellent.
It's good to see you, Tyler.
I actually went away and said to myself, I have to talk to him again when I come back.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to you again. Ariel, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I tell you what, I have a friend who was murdered in the 7th of October. I remember after she died, I was a religious person when I was a kid, and then I became an atheist. Not really, like, I knew God existed, but I was angry at him, you see, and then I have a complicated relationship with God, you see what I mean? After she died, I became very fast, very religious. I started to wear tzitzit, kippah, pray 3 times a day. It helped me get to the tough times of the grieving. And then when I became better, I left the religious side. And I came to a conclusion with myself that we as a people always go to God when we are having tough times. How can I maintain good relationship with God? Like consistency.
On a regular basis, consistently.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, it's a very insightful question. First of all, this has been a problem for the longest of time. It says, there's a pasuk, Hayaroch shavecha lo batzar. So the Gemara explains, it means when you're not batzar, when there's no trouble, Hayaroch shavecha, do you pray to God? Do you pray to God even when things aren't going badly? Because that's really the key. In other words, if a person only goes to marriage counseling when things get really bad, then they go to therapy with their wife, so it's never going to be a very healthy relationship. The way that we do it is even when things are nice and peaceful, you keep investing. You put in. It says that there's a Gemara in Yavamot, Kuf Yud Zayin in Yavamot. And it says that the Pasuk says, Kemayim apanim lepanim. So Pasuk, I mentioned to someone else today, like water reflects back your face. So it says in the Gemara that's talking about Torah. It's talking about Torah. And it means, to the extent, says Rashi says, as much as you put in your effort and energy into it, that's how much you get out. So a person who says, I don't know, the extent that a person builds a good relationship, you have to be growing. In your marriage, you're going to get married one day. If it's nice, make sure you go out on dates anyway, and you buy you do nice things, because either you're going up or you're going down. You understand? Either you're going up or you're going down.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true in business. In business, you're either going up, you can't just sit and be comfortable. You'll have a company on the stock market, I don't know, Apple, right? And it's a top company, trillions of dollars in cash sitting there. They're pouring in the money. And they'll announce their new products. And if it's not so exciting, the stock will go down, even though they're making money. And it's right, it should be that way. The same thing is true in your Yahadut. It's absolutely true. You have to be putting in. Whatever you put in, it's like an investment. It grows and it builds. And when that happens, then when there are tough times, you don't have to be desperate. You're not running into marriage counseling.
Yeah.
You have a healthy relationship. You're connected. You're there. You're embraced. It doesn't mean it's not painful, but you have a coping mechanism. So the way to do it, Aseh lecha rav, Knei lecha chaver, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. You have to have a community. You have to have a group of people.
Yeah.
Instead, you have to take on, and it can't be, if you do too much, like you described, right away tzitzit, right away kippah, right away 3 tefillot a day, it's very hard. But one thing at a time, but for real, a little more. And next month, it should be a little more than this month.
Yeah.
A little more. Yelchu mechayil el chayil. You understand? You keep going from one achievement to the next. It really solves the problem. Hello. I'm Rabbi Shoff. What's your name?
Lizzie.
It's good to meet you, Lizzie.
So the question is, I want to change my second name.
What is your full name?
My full legal name is Tova Rachel Edry.
Tova Rachel.
Yeah.
Edry is your last name?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to legally change my name to Lizzie Tova Edry. The name Rachel has never really connected to me, and I'm not the most religious, but my family is, and I just wanted to know what are the religious implications of removing a name of one of the mothers.
Wow. A person has the right to change their name. And when you change it, it doesn't matter legal or not legal. Mm-hmm. If from then on that's what you ask to be called, mm-hmm. and when people pray for you and people use your Jewish name, they use that name, then that's it. Mm-hmm. That's your name. So you have the right to do it. The question is, and it's worth exploring on a real level, Rachel is a beautiful, beautiful name. Mm-hmm. She was a beautiful person. Yeah. Her story is magnificent in the Torah. And it's a name that Jews have latched onto mm-hmm. for a few thousand years. Yeah. Rabbi Akiva's wife, you know the story of that Rachel? Mm-hmm. Her name was Rachel, and she was the daughter of a wealthy man, and she believed so much in her husband, who was just a shepherd and a simple man. And it's a very storied Jewish name. Mm-hmm. So the question would be, just as a friend, is what is it about that you don't connect to? Because if you sense in your life that there are any parts of yourself mm-hmm. that you don't fully connect to, which many of us have, we only come into ourselves sometimes as, you find your place in the world, it would be wild to discover later that you wildly and intensely connect to that name. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something.
Is it possible, or you just don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's, for me, connecting religiously is just something I've not really ever been able to do. Even as a child, it's just not something I've connected with, but I can respect it. I understand why people connect with it so much. And when I was a kid, I wasn't treated very nicely. And there's 2 specific bullies that I remember the most, which hurt me the most. And both of them, one of them was named Rachel and one was Rachel.
Wow.
So it's just the name doesn't have
That's so important that you shared that.
It doesn't have that much of a good memory to me.
First of all, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart because it's still intensely painful. The problem is that you don't have full control. Mm-hmm. because these people have somehow gained control over whether you feel happy or sad, at least a little bit, right? Because they did something to you which is horrible and unforgivable. They were also stupid kids. They also probably came from homes that were not healthy. There's probably a long trail of how it happened. But even if we assume like they're just wicked, they're going to roast in hell, like they're going to die young, right? Like let's say we assume that, still you're the one suffering. And that shouldn't be. Does that make sense? It shouldn't be. You should be able to not have this affect your relationships and your friendships and your internal world by taking back control over your life. Do you understand? And the fact that it makes you feel a certain way about your name, it would be a terrible mistake to ignore this and just change your name, in my opinion. Just like if somebody had like some sort of rash and they just kept painting over it with makeup, instead of figuring out what am I eating, what is the thing. This is a symptom, it's not the cause. So I'm suggesting that you have a holy soul and you have like a very innocent childlike part of you that was just attacked and was just hurt on a daily basis. You didn't feel safe, you didn't feel happy, nobody could help you. These kids are bullying you. And now as an adult, as like a cheerful, you present as like a happy, positive, and like inside there's a part that's totally broken. And until you solve that, it's going to change everything about yourself, and it's going to change who you marry, and it's going to change the way you raise your children. All these things are going to be impacted because this is a tremendous open wound that they're still controlling. This is not a particularly religious question. Do you know what I mean? In other words, it's just a human question, which will also impact how you feel, by the way, about religion and about strangers, and about men and women and pretty girls, and whether or not you're going to want to wear more or less makeup in your life is going to relate to whether these girls did or didn't wear. Do you follow? In other words, so I'm just telling you with like an open heart and in no judgment that the worst idea would be to try to solve the problem. If as part of a really healthy healing process where you head on went back in and said, how did those people make me feel? And let me feel it again and soak in it. And then say, okay, but I know that's not true because A, B, C, D. I'm beautiful and I'm kind and I'm capable and I'm bringing something beautiful to the world, right? And you come up with your real response so that whenever you feel that intense feeling, you have a clear and accurate, worked out response. You'll find that it goes away. Instead, you'll find that it goes away. And once that goes away, if you then find that changing your name helps you in moving forward, awesome. You might find that embracing your name. I'm not sure what it's going to be. But I would encourage you to trust the process and push that. And don't give up on this, because all your happiness in life, can be enhanced. And does it sound right? What I'm saying it sounds accurate, right? Man, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's all right.
Wow. It's all right, but it's not all right. It's not all right. Wow. How old were you when you went through this?
I'm 18.
Now you're 18.
Yes.
And when this experience...
This happened between the ages of like 5 to 15. This started out in Ghan, and then we went to the same middle school, and then I moved to a different high school to get away from this bully, and I ran into a different one.
Oof. Kids are tough.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen. I know somebody. This guy was a very, very popular kid through 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then his parents moved or something, and he went to a new school. He was like mercilessly beat, like not physically, but like mercilessly bullied for the year. He was different. He was weird. He was a loser. And like it was a year, like constantly by a whole class of kids. Parents switched him out of the school as soon as they could, as soon as they really understood what was happening. And 7th and 8th grade, he went somewhere else. High school, always. That 1 year though was like, as you know, like it's just. So he grew up and he decided he's going to be a teacher. Because he says his teachers didn't help him. No one ever came and put their arm around his shoulder and said, hey, like, what's going on? Why are you sad? What's going on? So he said he's going to be a teacher. And he's going to go in there and he's going to build kids up. And he's going to make sure that they value each other. And he's going to do everything he can to work that no one ever gets bullied. And he's one of the most effective educators that I'm aware of in the Jewish world. Because he turned that pain into something magnificent. And he makes sure his children always know when you go to school, if there's a new kid, You tell them, I'm going to be your friend. You go over to them. You be kind to them. And he has many children, and they all do that. You know, and after the first day of school, he sits them all down. Who did this? Okay, we're giving out lollipop. Like, he makes it a culture in his family. That. So you have the capacity, if you've experienced that in a very personal way, you have the capacity to bring a lot of that healing to the world. You have that capacity. Don't.
It's why I'm hoping to become a firefighter. I want to help people.
It's beautiful.
I want to be. I didn't have many people who were the good,
Save
helpful space to save me. So I want to be there when people need saving, to just help them out.
Wow, that's amazing. Tova Rachel. Rachel was the one who was willing to give up every happiness in her life, everything that she believed, spiritual, physical, everything, so her sister shouldn't be hurt. That's what she stands for. That feels very, very much like your core identity. I'm not saying you like the sound of the name right now, but that's the whole thing. God looks at the Jewish people and he says, these people and then Rachel goes up and says, no, I taught them about this. It's in there. Like, they're not selfish. It's not real sin. They don't really hate each other. Halachically, change your name to Ozymandias Hoon, whatever you want.
All right.
Emotionally, before you choose anything, get to the bottom of this the best you can.
Yeah.
Because the level of healing that will come with it, it's going to be magnificent.
All right.
You agree with me?
I agree with you.
Okay. I was so happy to meet you.
I was so happy to meet you. Thank
It's
you.
agonizingly painful, but it's also inspiring because you're smiling and you're moving forward and you're going to do it right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, so I always wonder this. Why in like Birkot HaShachar, why is it different for men and women?
The blessing about Shalo Asani Isha.
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing I want to tell you is that we're living in a world now where you see the danger, right, of people not appreciating that men are men and women are women. And those are both very, very beautiful things. And like, we need to know femininity is a beautiful thing and masculinity is an important thing. And these are real. So I think it's great that there are separate ones and roles. I think it's really important. The question, I guess, would be the words, Shalo Asani Isha.
Yeah.
That's tough, right? It's almost like, thank you for not making me a female, like they're an inferior being. The simple understanding is that men have a lot more mitzvot. They have a lot more mitzvahs to do. And Shalo Asani Goy, Goyim have fewer mitzvahs, and then Eved has more, and then Isha has more. And we are thanking God for the opportunity to perfect ourselves with mitzvahs. However, it is brought, I think in the Yeshua's Yaakov, it is brought that She'asani Kiritzono means that, women are very spiritual and they need fewer mitzvos because they don't have as much. Men need to sit there the whole day, learn Torah, and they need all these different things. And women, in the simple things that they do, they elevate them tremendously. And they don't need as much Talmud Torah and as much training. So on the one hand, that's a big plus. She'asani kiritzono, meaning you made us more like your will. So that's a beautiful thing. That's what it says in the Sefer Yeshua's Yaakov on Shulchan Aruch. It's an old Sefer. It says that's what's behind it. So it's a blessing that's very empowering for women. On the other hand, men take the other perspective and say, yeah, listen, you know what? Women are more spiritual and women are more, but we have an opportunity. We have to embrace our opportunity. You see, whatever you have going on in life, it's important to see the opportunity there and not the complaints. What do you say? It's a good piece of information, right? I'm glad you stopped by. What is your name?
Naama.
It's nice to meet you, Naama.
Nice to meet you. Why is Mashiach not here? What aren't we doing enough of?
We know this. We know that one of the great rabbis of the Gemara went to ask Mashiach himself, when are you coming? And his answer was, Hayom, today. And then he left. And he didn't come that day. So he met him again. And he said, what, you lying to us? He said, Hayom im bekolo tishmo. Today, if you'll just listen to Hashem's voice, if we will just keep the Torah, we'll just do it right, Mashiach will come. It's not a question that we should be asking Hashem. He should be asking us. And the truth is that you say, well, what about those other people? Well, let's go like 1 week where we do it right. 1 week of like just being who we should be. And if we will have this orientation, like that's what's going to bring Mashiach. But I'll tell you something. Hashem has a plan. So obviously, if Mashiach is not here and you really are doing your best, then he wants you to do more. And he wants you to keep going. And there's a lot of joy in this world. There's a lot of mitzvahs to do. There's a lot to accomplish. So it's not our way to be angry that Mashiach isn't here, or we're excited about it. It's going to come. We know it's going to come. We're excited for when it comes. And in the meantime, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to accomplish. So I really think that's the right orientation. And the minute we've gone 1 week, where we did 1 week, where we did it right, we just kind of said the Lashon Hara and just the oriented, all the good things that we should be doing and avoiding. We treat our parents the way we should and our siblings at 1 week. And then we turn around and say, okay, then we have the right to start wondering, what is it? What's going on? You hear what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard.
So once the Messiah comes, he will build up again the third temple.
Correct.
But I heard that there are different understandings of this new temple. I heard that you need to build it, the Messiah will build it, it will come from heaven and materialized. So what's your understanding of the rebuilding of
I want to tell you something. When you have something in prophecy that would describe a temple of fire coming down from the heaven, it could be a literal statement and it could be a metaphor. And I don't think we'll really know until the prophecy happens. So you'll have things in the Bible like God, says, I'll return you to the land of Israel on the wings of eagles. What does that mean? I don't think it means anyone's going to sit on an eagle. There may be somebody who reads that and says they're going to sit on an eagle. Even if in our tradition, in the Talmud, or it says something about a temple coming down from the heaven, I think it's open to interpretation. I think an intelligent person, it's fair to say, I don't know until I see it exactly how that's going to play out. I also don't think it's important. It's important in terms of studying the Torah. So to think about these things and talk about these things is worthwhile. But in other words, I don't think coming to a conclusion is particularly important, because when it happens, we'll see. You understand? When it happens, we'll see. And that's not what God wants from us, is our hearts and our behavior and our... So whether or not we interpret it this way or that way,
that's not important. I
think it's right. In other words, it's important for us to care and to talk about it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. But no, it's to need to have the final answer.
It's not to us.
Correct.
And another question, if I may. So once the Messiah comes back, he will start with the sacrifices of animals during the third temple. For what? That's a basic question probably, but...
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. You believe in the Old Testament was true?
Yes.
Why did they offer animal sacrifices?
For my understanding of as a Christian, it was just an image of what it was coming with Jesus. Because for me, Jesus, he is the ultimate sacrifice to God in obedience.
So you had many sacrifices. I mean, I'm sure you read the Old Testament. There was a Thanksgiving offering, right? And there was a burnt offering. And they're completely different for different things. And if you commit this sin, you do this. And one is, if something's going well in your life, you offer a sacrifice, right? So it's very clear. It's very clear that these were valuable and meaningful things. A human being, I want to explain, God is infinite. So idolaters would bring sacrifices. It makes sense because they had finite gods or limited, and they want to give them a gift. But if God is infinite, there's nothing you can give him. And yet, the word korban, which is a word for a sacrifice, is from the word karov, which means to come close. There are two reasons why we will give gifts to someone we love. One person might give a gift because, well, you need a new toothbrush, I got you a toothbrush. But another person might give you flowers because they love you. And the way a human being expresses love is by giving. Human beings desperately need to connect to God. How are we going to connect to God? And one of the ways is by giving. And therefore the opinion, that's the way I understand Maimonides' opinion, is that idolaters used to give sacrifices. And this was a way that people expressed their religious feelings. They took something expensive and meaningful. Nachmanides, Ramban, one of the classic Jewish philosophers. So he says that when a Jew would bring a sacrifice, it was as if it was him. Every one of us has an animal side and a spiritual side. And a human being is a mixture of a little of the breath of God and the dust of the earth. When a person sins, he needs to learn that it was your animal side that sinned. That's what happened. You didn't allow the spiritual side to control your animal side. So you slaughter an animal, and that blood and that fat, it represents yours. You should offer that to God. It should always be sacrificed to God. This is how sacrifices were understood in the Talmud long before Jesus was born. And that's a very, very important thing to understand. There's deep value in every single thing that God said in the Old Testament. Without people that knew nothing about anything Christological, found enormous value in these commandments and in these things. I don't see any sense. God couldn't have sent a child, like he needed people on a daily basis to be slaughtering animal after animal for all of their sins in order that one day he would send. He couldn't have sent him earlier. It's a very bizarre thing for me to try to make sense out of, that would have been the reason. I assume it's like anything else. And Jews believed, I believe Jesus believed, that whenever there's a temple, there's going to be animal sacrifice. He didn't tell them, stop slaughtering these animals, I don't believe. Now I'm here. So it has an enormous value. It's a value for the psyche of the person. It helps bring them to teshuva, which is repentance. Not forgiveness, but repentance. Big difference. It's about you changing yourself. And that's how we would understand those animal sacrifices, in which case there would be enormous value to them going forward. Because the Torah says it brings a pleasant smell to God over and over. Reach nichoach, a pleasant smell. And the way that was understood is that when people do his will and behave nicely and act as they should, it brings God great pleasure. And it's a metaphor for that. So, I believe it's going to come back, and I believe the animals are going to line up. They're going to want, what would any being want more than to give their very essence for God and for truth and for what's good?
That's really beautiful and enriching to me, because I am, as a religious, that's part of my understanding of my own life. I am sacrificing my own life to God.
You are.
As a thanksgiving. I am giving him everything I have. So what you just explained to me makes a lot of sense, because I want to give God the best I have. The best I have is my own life, to live according to him and to dwell in his presence for my entire life, as David said in the psalm. So yes,
Psalm 27.
Yes, my favorite psalm.
Really?
Yes.
I have to tell you something.
Yes.
I wrote a book
Okay.
only on Psalm 27. Just on that psalm.
Okay.
It's very special to my heart as well.
It's very special. Probably that's the psalm that made me choose this life for giving my life to God too.
Well, I obviously disagree with the exact theological methodology,
Yes.
but I tremendously admire your commitment and your loyalty to what you believe in, because it's very special. It's very beautiful.
And I admire yours. I mean,
very
I was just praying in the West Bank, and it was just so beautiful to see you all praying there to God and to see all the religious phenomena over there. Like, I was impressed about that, and I am very thankful to understanding and learning all this.
I think you should take advantage, great advantage of your time in Jerusalem, because the way that you've always read the Bible, like the 5 books of Moses. So right away, you see the serpent in the Garden of Eden, and you're thinking Christological. Abraham and Isaac and the offering his son. And to be able to read it with fresh eyes, it's worthwhile. To read it the way it would have been read by everybody, and we still study it, it's worth seeing it that way, even if afterwards that strengthens your Christian faith, and God bless you. But in other words, it's something that most people never have an opportunity to do who are coming from a Catholic perspective. There are people here who could really, really help put that into perspective, and it will only enrich you and broaden you. I think you would probably see things differently afterwards. That's obviously what I think. But I don't say that in a patronizing way. I say it in a way that you're clearly a person who's interested in the truth and wants to know what's right. And I think it would be enormously eye-opening.
I appreciate
this
that.
is the place in the world where you can find
Yes. Yesterday I heard the same thing. A priest told us that we usually, when we read the Old Testament, we put Christ over everything because we want to understand the Bible as Jesus as the final revelation. But he told us to read the Bible as it was written, and for the persons that were in that moment and the stories that were told before Jesus, and to understand the deep meaning.
Start today from the beginning.
Yes, and it's so beautiful because I think here you can understand better why Jesus preached like that, why Jesus lived like that. And probably after centuries for us, we missed some of the things that were originally there. So yes, I'm very grateful for that advice.
I enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you
I
very
really
much.
wish you the best.
Thank you very much. You too.
Meaningful Minute Plus is new and it's fantastic. And you'll see a lot of amazing behind the scenes things, all kinds of special content. You'll have people that walk right in front of cameras. Good, sweet grief. Meaningful Minute Plus is a new fantastic platform that you need to sign up for. Fireaway.plus. Again, you type into your browser fireaway.plus instead of .com. Just fireaway.plus and you will sign up for Meaningful Minute. It's a monthly subscription and it's packed with amazing, awesome things. I will be there. I will have content for you. Meaningful Minute Plus. Fireaway.plus. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'd like to show you some dance steps. Okay.